What's the odds? Oh, it's Leo against insert character. How about no?
Yeah, it's like, okay, you got it, Griffin. I'll see you later,
You got it. You got it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is going to be a whole lot of fun to see because, again, this is sort of the separate, different mainlands of Mexico as well. And Spargo, okay, well, he did hand warmers with Cloud, but it's actually going to be the Aegis to start off.
I thought he doesn't like this character. Oh, liar. Well, right now we're going to see Spargo bring back the Aegis here. You know, we talked about the return of the Joker, but here comes the Aegis for Spargo. And so far, BigBoss, I mean, if I'm BigBoss, to be honest, I'm happier about this. Not only does, like, Mythra may combo you like crazy, but at least you can win the ledge trap war against her to a degree. And with the Cloud feels like it's impossible to land a majority of the time, and then you still have to deal with limit later. We'll see how it works, but I'm not one to second-guess Spargo with how good he's been playing of late. I am just very surprised.
Yeah, I think that the Aegis definitely comes out in matchups where Spargo really wants to be like a full-on initiator, right? It's not even just about like, when he plays Cloud, I think of that as a character where he wants to really focus in on taking advantage of his opponent's bad habits. But when he's playing Aegis, I think of this as a character where he wants to create bad habits in his opponents, right? He wants to force openings where he can make you look worse than usual. And right there on that ledge trap, he's able to force BigBoss into that neutral getup, and that F tilt is always going to come.
So many people fall for that. Like just the empty jump up airs and such, just making it look like you can punish it, but it ends so quickly that you get caught. Good tech though, going in towards the stage. That time missing the tech though, because BigBoss committing to it. Say, look, I know you dropped down, so most likely you're not going to be prepared for the second one.
This is one of the things I love about BigBoss as a Rob too, that, you know, every Rob has sort of like their own identity, right? Zamba's always trying to get things started, you know, close quarters, and he's always trying to be the one in the advantage. Yeah, amazing recoveries, right? You think of a lot of the local guys. I mean, Anathema has the craziest combo game out of any Rob out there.
Most zero to deaths, bar none.
Yeah, and BigBoss, you know, does not really fish for those zero to deaths, and he's not even the most aggressive Rob either, but what he really does is throw a bunch of different types of Rob gameplay at you and force you to figure out in what individual moment he is going to switch it on.
I feel like his efficiency is just so good. Like you're not going to see the extreme plays as he goes down right there to the down tilt up air, still within range, very easy to connect on with Pyra, especially against Rob. But his minimization of things always keeps him in the game. Like even though he's behind right now, I still feel like he's not going to feel uncomfortable with taking these combos here. That being said, you can only take so many from Spargo before it feels like you can't make a comeback.
Yeah, playing for trades with Rob, right, is something that normally you can do, right? You got the big hitboxes. Generally, against a lot of characters, you'll be able to beat them out. Great patience right there. There's nothing Spargo can do to escape that except for perfect DI. I don't know how anybody DIs Rob up there consistently.
It's just the amount of times you play against it. That's the majority of it right there. You need that matchup experience regardless if you want to fight Rob or not. And, I mean, Rob was the most represented character in top 128. We are in Tri-State, so that is not a surprise. But that just goes to show, like, you have to figure out these matchups along the way, and Spargo knows it so well after all the time, not just playing him, but other people like Zamba as well.
Well, this is one of those moments where BigBoss really needs to find one of those big definitive combos. And like we said, he's not one of those Robs that's going to fish for those. If you give him an opening, he's going to take it for certain. And right there, that's one of them there, right into the arm rotor. Spargo, does he have his jump?
Oh, he messed it up. That was he was so lined up to close the game out. I thought he was going to go above him and go for a dare or something like that, or wait it out, but instead Spargo comes out on top on what was such a perfectly executed ledge guard. I can't get the words out. I can't believe he screwed it up. He was so close. But BigBoss instead holds the L, and that one definitely is going to hurt a bit.
And neither of those two players are really happy with the way that one ended, because Spargo's like, man, I mean, it's written all over his face. He's like, I easily could have lost that, and I don't want to think about how that could have happened. And obviously, BigBoss is like, well, I could. Oh, that was gluttony. I got scrambled a little bit. Sorry.
Kind of throws me off watching Spargo sometimes. It's like, I notice it, like, monotone is a term for speaking, but his face is just so monotone sometimes. He's just there, existing. Like, yeah, that happened. Or, yeah, that shouldn't have happened. But when you see him show expression, when you see the eyes roll back, people get speed ran. And games are quickest this weekend, so that's the last thing you want to happen, is to have Spargo enter you into another one of those categories. And so far, he's feeling confident in the Pyra Mythra, regardless how close that was. He's going to run it back.
You know, you were talking about Spargo's way of speaking. Last told me that he almost exclusively speaks in, like, YouTube thumbnails, where he's like, what was he cooking?
He's a big lord.
Bro thought he was on the team. Like,
it's easy to forget that he's also a child sometimes.
Yeah, no, and then you remember, it's like, oh yeah, this is one of the best players in the world, possibly #2, and he's still a high schooler. Like, it's insane how quickly he's gotten good.
#1 seed of the event today, and
Yeah.
for good reason. He's been playing so well of late, and this is with him making that return post that bit of a break he had to take there. You know, everyone needs it once in a while. You need to take that little breather, but he came back, and he came back swinging, and he's still doing exactly that. He has not faltered much throughout this event. BigBoss got really close to, you know, making him like actually mess up in that first game, but he's still keeping it very close here, even with the fact that that last game went that way. A lot of times people will be a little bit mentally disrupted, Kimona. He's still right here with them on this first stock.
Hey, look, when you're playing at the top level as long as you are, and especially, you know, when you're still a developing player like Spargo, right, you're going to learn very quickly how to bounce back from a tough loss because you really don't have any other option. You're going to continue to get put in these tough situations, and Spargo definitely looking unbothered. He is still thinking just as clearly as he was in that game 1. He's able to get out to the lead here. It's also on Battlefield against Aegis, and this is what BigBoss has chosen.
There should be a guaranteed knockout right there. There you go, cover him in. If you don't put out an active hitbox over there, that's a free fall. And minimizing the damage, I think that's been the most impressive part about BigBoss against Spargo so far, because Spargo has some of the best advantage state in the entire game. And the fact that you can bounce back and even it up so quick, that just goes to show how solid BigBoss is overall. Again, we said it before, efficiency is the name of the game for him.
And you're talking about efficiency. I'm especially impressed with the movement, right? That he is constantly able to be very, very, I don't want to just say mobile because obviously he's moving, but he can really easily mix up the positions he's going to. Didn't expect that Lightning Buster to hit as big as it did. And
I think, to be fair, a lot of us we got like forget that move sometimes. That last hit is huge.
It is large. It's basically a Sephiroth sword at that point. Like, it's just
huge.
Here we go, BigBoss got that gyro to land, forward smash. It's not the sweet spot, but did have Spargo forced to go low, and that's one of the things that both of these players have been really, really adamant about, is they will take resets at ledge if it means that they can open up an avenue to a high recovery.
Exactly. A majority of the time, it's not about the initial first hit, it's about the plays after that, and they're always looking for the plays after that. It's like watching chess in motion. That was really well spaced up here, because even if it missed, he still got him, but he goes out there with that side B to cover him.
That was not only a great call out from Spargo just on the positioning from BigBoss, he also had to call out the fastball to actually get that positioning right with that side B. He's able to take the lead, but again, how long is that going to last? Because BigBoss's ledge trapping has been phenomenal, and that time, just like Spargo did to him, calling out the switch to Pyra, it's going to take us to an even game.
Spargo may not have wanted it, but he had a real healthy dose of down tilts for a good while there, about 7 in a row, and then one good space timing on that forward air, evening it up, and not only that, since then, has basically put on 73% on check. This is against Spargo at that, and so great out of shield game in front of Mythra, who's normally just swinging there, so he understands Spargo is looking for something deeper than that.
The defensive play from both of these guys is so good. I mean, you think of Spargo and Leo, I mean, basically all of the Mexican talent, right? They are a region that is very, very focused on being proficient at the ledge, and that means that they're very proficient at playing in situations where their options are limited, so out of shield as well, right? And you can see, right, Spargo doing his best to keep BigBoss on the side of the stage, and he's going to do the same to Spargo because they know that this is their best opportunity to get something big going.
Oh, this is a bad spot right now. He good drift in towards the stage. Don't try to deal with that mix-up from Spargo, but now you're on that top platform, bravely falling right in front of Mythra Pyra with that down, that back air, and
oh
all
my
right, just keep doing it, I guess.
They up and down, looking like the elevators at the New Yorker right now. 133, Spargo gets his recovery read to bits. BigBoss hanging tough in this set, 1-1, and I mean, most of the time, even though this was back and forth, it seemed like he was mostly the one in control.
I mean, we said it earlier. Sometimes BigBoss has phenomenal performances, sometimes he has solid performances. But when he's having those phenomenal performances, he feels like the best Rob in the game. And the way he played that game too against the advantage state that Spargo has, but more importantly for me, was how fearless he was when Mythra was right next to him. You're not beating the startup on Mythra's moves. You're not challenging that jab. You're not challenging that down tilt. And you're sure as hell not challenging him when he tries to drop him with a forward air. But he did anyways, because he knew Spargo wouldn't press a button. That's really intelligent play from BigBoss to force us to a game 3 where they're at one apiece.
And that's what I'm saying, right, is that these Mexican players are so good at playing in situations where their options are limited. Whether it's in the ledge, whether it's in the shield, they know what they are and are not allowed to do. And I think that Battlefield for BigBoss, right, that's giving him extra zones to either escape to or force Spargo to respect that he can escape to. That's been a really, really big situation for him because Spargo has not been able to extend advantage, particularly, you know, for like the minute-long spans that we usually see him do.
Yeah, which is interesting at that too because Spargo's the one who decided to run it back here to Battlefield after he got that dub. But Spargo, he took 93%, but once again striking first. He's been consistent at striking first each time. But it's always been the revenge KOs. Every single time, once he gets knocked away, BigBoss strikes back immediately.
And there again, you know, ledge play, really, really solid there by BigBoss, keeping the pressure on Spargo. And I like that he just backs up right to center stage because he knows, like, he has the respect that Spargo does the same thing that he's doing, right? If he tries to put pressure on that shield, he could very well just give up center stage. So he wants to see if Spargo will come to him, give him an opportunity to fire back. But again, missing out on the recoveries on the side Bs.
For a second there, I thought he was going to get caught in the entire hit and it was going to make him drift further back because sometimes it will catch you and almost like nest up B, make you kind of drift away a little bit. But lucky for Spargo, that's 2 times now where it normally would have been a free edge guard and he gets his way back on.
And speaking of the edge guards, though, Spargo has really, really called out BigBoss. A lot of times he drifts right underneath that ledge, and then he'll double jump over it and try to contest Spargo with an aerial. Spargo has hit him twice for just drifting right beneath that ledge. First it was a call out, then it was a combo, and now BigBoss trying to hover above the ledge gets called out for that too.
All conditioning off of the exact plays you were just talking about. You got caught going low twice. You're not going to expect me to go challenge you this 3rd time. And Spargo racking up that damage big. Going to be forced to have to drift back to the stage, but he's put on 50% already for this stock, and that's only adding up.
I see BigBoss is trying to escape into the corner, but that is where Spargo feasts, man. 87% after that magnifying glass damage, and it continues to go. Spargo is just threatening BigBoss at every single inch, every single nook and cranny of this game. I am terrified for my life right now, and so too must BigBoss. Spargo turning up the jets in that game 3.
He needed to be scared at that because Spargo showed his hand. I'm willing to go off stage against you right now. I'm up a stock. I have no fear to do that. So all these empty jumps, all this pressure, everything could have been a trade in his favor, and that forced the panic movement out of BigBoss, not once but twice, to get him to close out that game. So even with it going to BigBoss on game number 2 on Battlefield, not caring all about that, running it right back to Battlefield and getting the job done with that 2 stock.
That's Spargo definitely showing off that tenacity that he has, right? We're going to Hollow Bastion, I believe, here for game 4. Indeed, we are. So BigBoss trying to open up a little bit more space now. Now that Spargo has figured out how to cover those platforms, not giving BigBoss those free escape zones, now he says, well, I want these ledges to be open. Now I'm Rob, I can go wherever I please.
Exactly. You still have up throw mix-ups on the platform as well to find those KOs later. You have the ability to reset nairs on them, so you have different ways to deal with disadvantage against Spargo, but also get your reward on a hit. Obviously, Battlefield wasn't working anymore, so having this wider range, I think, is definitely going to be the big part. He punished a landing on Foresight. I want to go give him $5. I never see anybody do that, even though it's pretty obvious. I felt like that was an unachievable thing in this game. The BigBoss now not only doing that, but continuing the sleep, just barely missing that up air.
Man, and it's because he double jumped. He got really greedy trying to get Spargo knocked up as high as he could with that up air. And Spargo's always got a good match, so there's going to be no KO off of that down throw. And in fact, Spargo nearly turning it into one of his own with that landing down air. My God, even the neutral B is almost enough. This should be the stock, though, unless great mix-up from Spargo, but BigBoss still covering.
I must once again say, BigBoss is so brave. You still went to swing or do something after he did that full charge neutral B. That does not have much end lag at all. And he still ended up getting rewarded for a stock on that. That just shows his familiarity with the matchup, but that option coverage dropped down on the air dodge. Surprisingly, not getting punished by Spargo there.
Let's see him just backing off behind that platform. Going to make it a lot harder for Spargo to approach, and that's why we see the switch to the Mythra despite the high percents. And that time, the Foresight coming through. I got a counter right here for you, and it's not even pressed to a button.
And just existing and dropping it early enough and getting reward and still keeping that pressure going. But he took a lot of damage in the midst of all that. Now you're in the worst spot to be in again.
That was dirty from BigBoss. My God.
Worst spot to be in against Rob on the ledge with a gyro out. And not only did he get an untraditional form of a ledge trap, but he finished it out with an amazing push to get that down air.
A lot of Robs like to just toss the gyro down on the ledge and hope that their opponent runs into it. BigBoss knows that Spargo is not going to do that, right? So he was active with that gyro, right? He turned that into a deadly tool, and he's doing it once again. Tons of damage being built up onto Spargo here, 59%, and again, BigBoss still working with a full stock lead.
Rona, we're approaching a very real reality where we could be seeing a game 5 here of BigBoss and Spargo if this continues in the favor of him, but he's used a good amount of jet fuel. He's already burned a jump, I believe, as well, so his landing mix-up surprisingly was just the neutral air dodge, and he got out of it. His air dodge is already burned. He's forced to go low. That's a free down air, but he went early, and Spargo, knowing the max distance he could get, to somehow play around that.
That was so huge for Spargo, and Prominence Revolt not going to be enough with those tall ceilings. Man, BigBoss, I mean, really just needs a little bit more damage and then a grab, but Spargo not going to let him sit comfortably forward there, calling out that jump from ledge, which BigBoss has done a few too many times, evidently. We're down to last stock.
The Spargo stock could happen right now. Even with that 103%, he has ledge on you, and you're having a hard time getting back at that. He's already got a couple hits. He's refused to touch the ground a little bit, and Spargo playing really well on defense. He's good. He needs to make sure he closes it out soon.
Gyro gets knocked away by the up B. Perfect timing by Spargo, and he actually turns that whole situation into a combo for himself. And with this much rage, you better start looking out. Down air, good blast zone. Oh my gosh, this might be the end.
Spargo stock inbound. He's having a hard time touching the ground. This isn't even selling. It's just Spargo just playing that good. Side B coming through. If he makes one mistake at ledge, one good fair, one down air takes out this and ends it. Game 4, 3-1.
BigBoss, he tried to land with the forward air because he knew that Spargo knew there's no way he can land with an air dodge after doing it twice in a row. Until the hurtbox shift gets Spargo out of the way of the grab, and the jabs are going to finish it. It looked like we were going to a game 5, but Spargo always clutch with the ledge traps, and he gets the 3-1 win.
Rob's everywhere for claiming Rob throw sucks, and that it does not have the best range, but it's a great grab. But right here, here's that hurtbox shift away. You talk about, oh good, we need to bring that back. Look how far, like just out of range he was on that.
Apparently the problem all along is that Rob isn't big enough. He needs more range.
He's gonna get back up here. Look at this.
I mean, there's the up tilt, but it has just enough pushback, just enough of a hurtbox shift.
That's actually crazy. Look at this. Somebody come look at this.
I mean, literally, if Pyra had eaten like a hamburger before the battle, he would have gotten that grab.
If she went out and got a New York bagel,
if she went down to Liberty Bagels on 34th.
Which, by the way, you should definitely get, because that's absolutely what I got for breakfast this morning. That was phenomenal.
That's what I ate for lunch.
But well done to Spargo, shutting it down, and like the Spargo stock's coming through, like, and they are always rising. Whenever he has last stock situations like that, he finds a way to get it done, because he just gets in your face and has no fear of the fact that he's behind at all. It's like, I don't care. I know you're scared to beat me. I know you're scared to beat me. I know you're scared to approach me. I'm going to get the job done anyways. And he does it again. It doesn't make sense, but he's just gotten that good. And that's a big reason, again, why he's #1 seed here today and why his performances have been so good of late. Now